Hey y'all, it's Chey, and today I am back with a challenge for no other particular reason other than I want to, and that's good enough for me. This week, I'm going to be swapping my screen time with reading. Why? Because I spend way too much time on my phone and not enough time reading books that keep on piling up because I can't seem to stop buying them or asking for them as gifts. I'm not going to launch into the age-old boomer rant that we know that we spend way too much time staring at our phones and at screens. In particular, my case is very bad because I have no other internet access at home besides my phone. It's not like I can just put down my phone and then go on the laptop and watch YouTube or do Notion or play cool math games. Not to mention I mostly film on YouTube for my phone, as I'm doing right now. Add all that together, that adds up to a coconut ton of screen time. Way too much and way too little reading. I was one of those kids that always had my brain and my eyes buried in a book and I could read several a day. Then it sort of fizzled out when I got to high school. Then I picked it up again in college because I started a new habit of reading 10 pages every morning, and it changed my life. Reading 10 pages for fun. After graduating college, thank goodness I have had time to actually read more for leisure, and I've gotten back into it, but I am terribly backlogged, and I want to do something about that and take my eyes off of a screen. Now, as for some clarifications for this challenge, I will only be counting screen time that I did for fun, not screen time that I did for work. Like I said, a lot of my work, because my only internet access is here at home, is done on my phone, so I send emails on my phone, I record on my phone, I have Zoom meetings, I text out schematics and plans and event operations. I work all from my phone. That I will not be counting. I will only be counting fun screen time, which, trust me, there's plenty of, way more than I'd like to admit. And not to be that person, Lemmy, I am not trying to be that person, not like other girls person, but I don't spend a lot of time on TikTok. I see a lot of these videos and they look so much fun, and that's partially why I want to do it. Like Olivia Reads a Latte, she has a great channel, you should go check her out. Her and a lot of other people have done this challenge, and I've heard a lot of people say that a lot of their time is spent on TikTok because of the scroll paralysis. Not for me. But simply because TikTok will not load here in the rural South where I live. I don't have enough service to load TikTok. That is the only thing saving my little 2-cell lizard brain from scroll paralysis on TikTok. No, what I spend most of my time on is Discord, because that's how I talk to my friends, that's how I talk to my partner, it's how I keep up with everybody and everything. And I have a terrible, terrible habit of just leaving my phone open and on, so it counts that as screen time, right? If it didn't count that, if it just counted a active screen time, as in when I was actually typing or scrolling or reading, I think it would be much less, because what I do is I'll type out a message and then I'll just set my phone aside and leave it open because it makes it easier for me to look over and see who's responded or if anybody is texting me. I just leave it open. And that is going to be my downfall in this challenge. I know Discord's going to have some massive screen time, simply because I won't lock my phone. As for the books I'm going to be reading in this challenge, I don't have any particularly planned. I have some that I'm currently in the middle of reading, and I'm probably going to start with those first just to get through them and finish them up. As for reviews, the reviews for these books will be in a separate video that will hopefully be the video up after this one. If I were to put the reviews for these books in this video, it would be way too long, even though I don't seem to have a problem with long videos on my channel. Videos that you should definitely check out, by the way.
They're long because they're fun.
But if you're looking for the reviews for these books, they will be in a separate video. That is quite enough out of me. Let's stop yapping and get to reading. Good Sunday morning, y'all. Today is the first day of the challenge, and I will be reading for a total of 6 hours and 19 minutes. At least, that's what the challenge wants me to do. Hi. Editing Chey here because I forgot to put the original breakdown for how I got 6 hours and 19 minutes. I'll quickly tell you. All these apps right here for my total screen time, once I added them up, that gave me a grand total of 7 hours and 54 minutes. Once I subtracted the apps for the screen time that I used for work, which were Amazon, Calendar, Notion, and Gmail, that left me with 6 hours and 19 minutes. Hope this helps. I only have a few books lined up plan for today because I don't think I'll get through all of them, but tentatively I'm going to start with Kurt Vonnegut's Mother Night, the next in his bibliography that I'm set to read. Then after that, Cat's Cradle, which is the book after Mother Night, and I also need to return to my local library soon, so 2 birds with 1 stone. The Martian, which I've already started on, like Cat's Cradle. I don't think I'm going to get through this one, even if I get through the other 2. I think these 3 are a safe bet for the first day, a good start to the challenge. Evening, y'all. I have read for the allotted time today. I actually read a few minutes over it because I feel bad about cutting out so much of the time, but it's my video, it's my challenge, I make the rules. 6 hours and 19 minutes, and I ended up reading for a grand total of 6 hours and 22 minutes. Just a little bit over because I wanted to really finish a chapter that I was on. I'm actually surprised at myself at how much I got done today reading in that much time. I started off by reading Kurt Vonnegut's Mother Night, and then I finished this book. Now, with Cat's Cradle, I was already 50 pages in before I realized it was 2 books ahead of where I should have been reading in the bibliography, so I started on page 50, but I also read that book in its entirety, finished it. After finishing Cat's Cradle, I then moved on to The Martian, which, again, was a book that I had already started. I was on page 70. I did not finish this book yet, but I am very close to finishing it. As you can see, I am on page 280, I think, or 280 something, 284, and it's only 360 something, so definitely gonna finish this one tomorrow, which I'm excited about. Because it was a Sunday, it actually wasn't too hard to do my reading challenge today. It was kind of an easy day to be a lazy day and sit here and read for 6.5 hours. As for my grand total, Mother Night is 268 pages, Cat's Cradle is 287, and this I read to page 284 from page 70. As for my grand total, I read 719 pages in 6 hours and 22 minutes. If you're curious for the breakdown, I will put it very quickly right here. Cool, isn't math fun? Now we move on to day 2. Good Monday morning, y'all. We are on the 2nd day of this challenge. I am feeling pretty good about it. I'm just going to quickly take y'all through what the time limit allotted for today is, how I got to that, and then some books that I picked out for today. For Monday, I had 10 hours and 40 minutes of screen time, and I know that makes a lot of you be like, oh my, what, how in the world? Well, I'll explain it like this. I was filming that day, and a lot of filming I was doing was with my camera, and as you can see when I go to my app breakdown, I use my camera for 1 hour and 32 minutes, as well as my voice memos for 52 minutes. A lot of this stuff I was filming that entire day, and I'm not going to count the apps that went towards work or went towards filming, because this is fun screen time, not work screen time. For actual fun that day, we have Discord for 4 hours and 33 minutes, Obey Me for 34 minutes, Facebook for 32, YouTube for 16 minutes, Messages for 12, Photos for 10, Spotify for 10, Instagram 7 minutes, I'm counting that, and then the rest except for Snapchat will work, so only Snapchat is left with 1 minute. When you add all of the fun time up, you get 6 hours and 26 minutes. That sounds very realistic to me. I only have about 80 pages left in this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish it during this first morning reading sprint just to get myself in gear, get myself going. Then I have Indiana Jones and the White Witch, a book that I've been meaning to read for a short while now, but it looks interesting, it looks fun, it's Indiana Jones. Can't go wrong. Next, I don't anticipate to finish this one during this entire reading challenge, but it's one that I'm going to start chipping away at, and that's Dracula. Look at this beautiful copy. Isn't it gorgeous? I love this copy. The last 2, we have Low Anthropology by David Zoll. This is a non-fiction book compared to the rest that I have in this pile. And the last is The Slow Regard of Silent Things. This is, I think you would call it a companion novel, I believe, to The Kingkiller Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss. It follows one of the, I hate to call her a side character, but it follows one of the side characters in the series, and this is sort of her story, her points of view, and it has illustrations in it. So if I get tired of reading some dense books. I figured this would be an easier break on the brain. It's just a quick little jaunt.
Look, officers. Detectives. Sure, detectives. We're sorry, but this is like a victimless crime. There's a man lying dead on the floor in there. That's called a victim.
Okay. Hey y'all, time for tonight's update. I didn't quite read as much as I did yesterday, but that's okay. I actually started on a non-fiction book that I really wanted to take my time and learn from. As such, I was definitely taking it a little bit slower to take my time and absorb the information today. Tallying the pages and the books themselves is just for fun. I need to remember that, and that it's not a contest that I absolutely have to do the most. That being said, let's get to the numbers. Funnily enough, I actually did finish 2 more books today, just like yesterday. I finished The Martian as I said I probably would. I was only 80-something pages from the end of this. It was the first thing that I finished this morning. I think I finished it in just under an hour. Then, as you saw in my update, I started on 2 books at the same time, which were Indiana Jones and the White Witch, as well as Low Anthropology. Now, you might be thinking, Chey, I bet that second book you finished is Low Anthropology. I mean, look at it, right? No, you're wrong. I'm on like page 130 something of this book, so I'm pretty close. The book that I did finish was Indiana Jones and the White Witch. I actually pretty much plowed through this thing. It was surprisingly a lot more fun than I expected it to be. I mean, every Indiana Jones novelization has been fun so far that I've read, and I've read 2 of them now. Finishing those 2 books, as well as getting ahead in Low Anthropology, brings me up to a total of 538 pages today. Adding today's total of 538 to my total yesterday of 719 brings the total pages for this challenge so far up to a whopping 1,257 pages. Not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of impressed with myself. I knew that I hoped I was gonna get a lot of reading done in this challenge, but we're on day 2 and I've already read over 1,000 pages and finished 5 books. 5 books? 4 books. I've finished several books already 2 days into this, and I can't believe it. No, 5. I can't wait to see what the rest of this week brings. I'm actually to the point where I'm starting to be like, crap, what am I gonna read next? I am just not a person that buys up a lot of books because of space, number 1, and 2, because of money. I don't have the money to be buying brand new books left and right. All that money goes to vinyl records or the little demon men who live in my phone. Not to mention Christmas is coming up, so I need to make more room for the possibly gifted books I'm going to be getting. I didn't even think of that until just now. I'm gonna go to bed. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Good Tuesday morning, y'all. We are going to get a very early start on the reading challenge for today because it's kind of a doozy. As you can see by my screen time, it says that I was filming for 11 hours and 24 minutes. As I mentioned yesterday, I was mostly filming this day last week, so that's what shot my screen time up because I film mostly with my phone, and I was filming a 24-hour challenge, so I was filming from midnight to 7 p.m. That also being said, part of this early start is because at the time of filming this video, I am editing the video that I am telling you that I was filming last week at this time, and by the time this video goes up, both parts of that video should be up, and I will link them up above in the cards. Up above in the cards. Let's get into the breakdown of my screen time for today. So 11 hours and 24 minutes. Yikes, ma'am. It's funny because even though I was filming most of the day, Discord still took up most of my time. Spotify I am also not going to count because I was listening to podcasts to help keep me awake while I was filming. But I will be counting Discord, I'll be counting Obey Me, I'll be counting YouTube. I'll be counting Safari, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat though. Photos and Mercari, I mean, do you really want me to count like literally like the 1 minute that it was? Do you want me to count that 1 minute? Do you want me to? I can, but 5 hours and 40 minutes total. That's not surprising. Pretty much the theme this week has been 6 hours of reading per day, which is decently doable if I have nothing else to do with my week, like work. The books I'm going to be starting with are Low Anthropology and The Slow Regard of Silent Things. Now, this book I read mostly yesterday, but I only have 70 pages left to go in it before I finish it. Secondarily, The Slow Regard of Silent Things. I have been excited to get to this book for months, I just haven't done it, but look how short it is. I think it's only like 150 something pages. Then after that, I'm not quite sure what I want to read. I don't want to pick out too many things. I really just kind of want to feel out what I'm in the mood for when I get there, because my mood will probably change between now and an hour or so. Evening, y'all. Time for another little quick bedtime update. My hair looks like a rat's nest because of this humidity. I promise I showered today, and yet this humidity with this storm front that is moving through Tennessee, I stepped outside once and my hair just went pfft. Update. This will surprise no one in the ongoing pattern of books this week, but I finished 2 books today. I finished Low Anthropology, and I finished The Slow Regard of Silent Things. Immensely enjoyed both. Low Anthropology gave me a lot to think about, which, again, will be in my review, but I'm glad I really took my time with this book and really worked through it. As for The Slow Regard of Silent Things, I related to this book a lot harder than I think I was ever meant to. I started the Dracula tape and Utopia Avenue. I don't know if I'm gonna finish either of these books tomorrow. Maybe the Dracula tape, maybe not Utopia Avenue, because it is a little bit of a hefty boy. It is a hefty guy, and you can see I'm not that far into it. I'm like a quarter of the way through it, but you're here for the totals. I read for a total of 5 hours and 40 minutes today. I actually read a little bit over, but whatever. My total amount of pages for today was 433 pages. That's actually a lot better than I thought I had done today, which is shocking. It didn't feel like I read that much. Add that up to my current total of all pages read, the 1257, and you get a new whopping total of 1,690 pages, as well as 6 books read off my TBR, gone wazoo, bye-bye. I was starting to feel the pressure of this challenge earlier today, where I'm like, I just want to get through it because I have so much other stuff to do. But I'm glad I didn't give in to that, because I showed myself that I could get this done and other things too. It felt like a languishing side quest to go and edit this video. Just whenever a task like that is still yet to be done, it feels so daunting because it's not one that I can make tangible steps to. I just have to throw myself into the deep end and start doing it and see where it takes me. But now that most of the editing is done, I see it wasn't as big a monster as I thought it was going to be. Therefore, I feel better about the time spent reading today. As well as, I even sat down and watched an over a 2-hour movie. I watched Everything Everywhere all at once. Okay, enough of my rambling. I am going to get to bed and I will check in with y'all in the morning. Good Wednesday morning, y'all. Just a little early morning check-in, also being halfway through the challenge check-in. I had to think of the word there, even though I just used it 2 seconds ago. So, for today, my total time is going to be 6 hours that I need to read, which, again, is kind of par for the course, and I'm going to go ahead and do that breakdown for y'all. I'm not going to count YouTube or Spotify because I did use those, but those are points where I'm not looking at my screen. I have background music playing and I'm not looking at my screen. I'm doing some other kind of work. Either I'm editing or I'm writing or I'm cleaning or something. Obviously, sometimes I'll be watching the apps when I actually use them, but this particular day I had just gotten done with a 24-hour challenge. I was, in fact, just having it as background noise. I don't know what happened with Instagram. Usually I never go on Instagram. So I don't know what happened that day. Sometimes what does happen is I get stuck in loops with my friends in DMs, like sending reels, and that's probably what happened. Is one of my friends, probably Julia, sent me a reel, and then I went to reels to send her, and then I just got stuck in like a scrolling loop. That's probably what happened. But I'm counting that. I'm obviously counting Discord. I decided that I would go ahead and count WhatsApp, even though sometimes I don't because I do use it for work or communication. Facebook, Obey Me, I'm counting as well. Snapchat, I am counting, and the rest of it's pretty much negligible. Adding all that up, that brings the total hours to 6 hours today. I've already gotten kind of a head start on it. I've been reading for a little over an hour this morning before I'm filming this right here, and I'm working on Utopia Avenue. I'm really enjoying it. I think I may try to finish it today just because I am enjoying it. It was a little slow for the setup in the start, but I'm enjoying where the characters are going and how the plot is moving along. I'm really liking how the story is not framed, but what's the word? I'll figure it out by the time I film the review, I promise. Actually, I'm going to put my midweek reflections at the end of today, at the end of today's summary. Let's just get back into reading. Welcome to the Wednesday night update. I know I said I was going to give a midweek, mid-challenge reflection tonight, but I just finished editing, at least I hope, to Talos, and I am sort of really pooped and tired. But a quick update on what I did do today. I did not finish both books, but I did finish one. I finished the Dracula tape. Then I think I got almost halfway through, if not halfway through. Yes, I am. I am more than halfway through Utopia Avenue, and I think if I just apply myself, I can probably finish this one tomorrow. I think it's actually because I am really enjoying this that I'm not trying to speed read through it. As for the totals, I read a total of 405 pages today. Not breaking any all-time records, I know, but again, I'm pretty happy with that progress. A page read is better than no pages read, and the fact that I read 405 of them today at my leisure in 6 hours, I'm pretty darn happy with that. I'll catch y'all in the morning. Hey y'all, so it is now Friday. Thursday, I basically only did 2 hours of reading. I didn't get much reading done yesterday because I got called into work. So I went into work, and by the time that I got home, I was kind of exhausted. I didn't feel like reading, and also it was later than I thought it was going to be. And also anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety going on, and I just couldn't focus. But I did get some reading done. I read for about 2.5 hours, and I only read 140 pages. I read 140 pages of Dracula. So way below my goal of what I was supposed to be reading that day, which was a little over 6 hours, I believe. It's a little bit later in the day than I would like to start, because I was supposed to read about, again, 6 hours. Today on Friday, you can see that I'm obviously going to count Instagram, gonna count Discord. I was gonna count messages and YouTube, Facebook, and Obey Me. And when you add all that up, it's pretty much 6 hours, like give or take. But I also had to work out and do a bunch of stuff around the house today, so it's already 3 in the afternoon. But I'll try and do as close to 6 hours as I possibly can today, because I feel bad that I was on such a streak of doing well and surpassing my goals and doing all this, and then yesterday something just completely blew it out of the water. But that's life, right? I mean, things happen. Some quick reflections on this challenge so far, kind of ironic now that I have, like, catapulted off my streak. I feel really good about swapping my screen time with reading. I feel so much more productive. In some ways it's making me anxious because I hate to sit down for long periods and do nothing, even though I'm not doing nothing, I'm reading. My body is doing nothing, and that gets me really anxious and kind of irritates me, but I've been doing it, and I can just tell a difference in anxiety a little bit. I have a really bad habit of just, like a lot of people, picking up my phone whenever I'm bored because, you know, immediate dopamine rush. Number one, I like that I'm getting books read that I have been meaning to read for a long time. Number two, it's really inspired me to write again. Not that I was demotivated at any point, but I don't know, like, I have just been invigorated with this passion that I haven't had in a few weeks, where I'm like, I don't want to read anymore. I just want to sit here and write. I don't, like, forget the reading, forget the rest of the challenge. I want to sit here and write for these 6 hours. And that's something that I have been hesitant about whether I'm gonna count or not, because I've been going back and reading through my stories, and I'm like, does that count? Because I'm not editing, I'm not writing, I'm reading through my old stories. So should I count that? I kind of do, but I don't really know how to quantify it because it's like an 11 font on like 1 line spacing on Microsoft Word. So how does that figure in compared to like other actual books with actual pages? I don't know, but I have been doing a lot of reading on that end because, again, it's this challenge that's making me be like, oh my gosh, look at all this great writing I'm getting inspired by. I want to go make stuff like this. In the spirit of that, Hot Rod is right here beside me. He doesn't like the camera. He gets nervous around it because he's like, I don't know what that thing is, sister. I do have an audiobook that I can listen to, but again, I don't know how to quantify that in pages because I know that I've been doing a page count on here. Maybe I'll just add it in as like bonus, because again, they don't have a quantity of page numbers, it's just the book. But if you're curious what I'm listening to, I'm listening to The Picture of Dorian Gray and Anne of Green Gables. I'm going to try to finish Utopia Avenue today, and maybe finish Dracula, and a volume of manga, maybe. Good Saturday morning, y'all. We are on the final day of this challenge, and I can't believe it already. I can't believe it's here already. I'm ready for it to be over, because I'm ready to not have to structure my day around this reading time, but I can't deny how much fun it's been and how much better I feel getting all this reading done. Let me catch you up on what happened Friday. Friday, the reason I did not film an update was because I had to read over 6 hours, and I ended up reading until midnight, literally, and I was just exhausted, so passed out and went to bed. What I did read was I read 117 more pages in Dracula on Friday night, and then I finished Utopia Avenue, cried a little bit, that was fun. Reading 117 in Dracula and then 241 in Utopia Avenue to finish it out brings me to a total of 358 pages that I read yesterday. Read a little bit slower than I would have liked, but still, finished another book and pretty much almost finished with Dracula. Now, the grand total for pages read so far on Thursday was 2,235. Adding in what I read yesterday, my total bumped up to 2,593 pages. I don't even know how to feel about that, to be honest. I'm just... wow. I'm looking at some of the bigger books on my shelf right now, and I'm like, I could have read you like 3 times over in the amount that it's taken me to read these this week. Like, that's amazing to me. Like, I have an 800-page book staring at me, and I'm like, I could have read you, what, 3 times over by now if I had just sat down and applied myself? ADHD criticism flashbacks. So today we're starting out with the total of 2,593 pages. I can't complain. I was gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna make up some time that I lost on Thursday because I had to go to work, but honestly not really feeling it because I'm already so proud of myself, so I think I'm just gonna stick with the time that I need to do today and finish out this challenge strong because, like I said, I'm already proud of myself. Whatever I do now is just a bonus. We are in for 7 hours and 9 minutes. Now that went down, and you can see it as compared to the rest of the week. Why? Because I was at work most of that day, so I couldn't really be on my screen. I figured as a way to sort of make up for other things that I have not counted this week, I would count pretty much everything on this day except for YouTube, because again, I wasn't watching YouTube, I was listening to YouTube as I was working. I just had it on in background noise. It comes out to a little over 250 minutes, which I'm just gonna call 4.5 hours, give or take. I feel like that's a fair compromise, especially for how much I did get done this week, and it gives me a little buffer room to add in just a little extra because of the guilt I feel about not being able to fulfill all of Thursday's requirement. First of all, I'm going to finish up this guy. I'm going to finish up Dracula. I think I can do it within an hour or two. I'm fairly certain that I can. Then, to give my brain another break from reading a bunch of words, I'm going to be reading Snow White with the Red Hair, Volume 4. I love this manga series. I think it's adorable. It's just a fun time. This guy's my favorite. Surprised that I actually haven't read more manga earlier in this week. Hopefully I'll finish Dracula, finish this one, and then I can get started on a relatively short one. Probably not going to finish another one, but I can get started on one and probably get a decent ways into whatever I choose, and that'll be it for the challenge. It's officially Saturday night and the end of this challenge. Did all my reading, and my predictions for what I was actually going to read came to fruition pretty well. I finished Dracula, first thing, then Happy Little Jaunt, finished Snow White with the Red Hair Volume 4, absolutely loved it. As for the book that I started, and I knew I wasn't going to finish, but I got started on it anyway, The Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison. This book has been sitting on my shelf for a long time, and not gonna lie, its legend sort of intimidated me, but I picked it up anyway, and I'm reading through it faster than I thought I was going to. I'm on page 90. I think given a few more hours today, I could finish this. But you're here and you want to know the totals, right? Manga, 191 pages. Song of Solomon, 90 pages. And then in Dracula, I have it written down because I would forget. I read 144 pages to finish out Dracula. Add all that together, that is 325 pages. I think I may have mistyped when originally adding in the pages and put 91 instead of 191 for the manga. I think that's where that 100 pages went. Turns out I actually read over 3,000 pages, which, considering my excitement for almost hitting 3,000 in this next clip, it's kind of adorable. Almost 3,000 pages that I have read. Almost 3,000... I am so proud of myself for actually sitting down and getting this done. I'm tired. I am ready to write, but I guess that goes into the reflections for this. I'm glad I did this. I was really intimidated by the thought of it to begin with because I wasn't sure that I could sit down and do that every single day, especially knowing how heavy my screen time is, particularly on Discord. I'm really proud of myself for just jumping in and doing it. I got so many books read that I have been waiting to read for weeks or months, and I enjoyed every single one of them. There was not a book in this pile that I did not enjoy. If you're curious for my full review, that will be the next video that I'm going to upload. So stick around for that if you're curious. I promise it's going to be a doozy.
War. War never changes.
Those things are heavy. Thank y'all so much for watching. I have plenty of other book videos for y'all to check out, as well as other challenges, concerts, all that good stuff. I hope you stick around to see what other shenanigans I get into. But as for now, if you haven't heard it from anyone else today, I love you. Love and peace. Until tomorrow.